Morning, everybody. Welcome to our Amud Yomi Shiur. We're learning an Amud today, the beautiful Torah. Usually we have the page in the background. Here we have the page, and now we also have this little chart in the background, and that is because today we're learning about different types of mitzvahs. Some of them apply to women and some don't. So as we've established yesterday, the rule is that any mitzvah, almost any mitzvah, which is Hazman Groma, which you like to call in English time related. As we explained yesterday, either it's caused by time or it only applies certain times. Nafkamina Kiddush Levana. So Bekitzer mitzvahs that are time related, tefillin, tzitzis, sukkah. There is a list of mitzvahs, Hazman Groma, and the women are potur. We bring an example for each group. The source here is tefillin, because tefillin are compared to Torah. Compared meaning the written one next to the other behekesh. Tefillin, women do not have to wear tefillin, that's for sure. It's a big question if they're allowed to. They definitely don't have to. Why? Because it's compared to Torah, and Torah is v'shinatim levonecho v'lo b'noisecho. Tefillin reflect on the entire Torah. From tefillin, you learn to the whole Torah, just like tefillin. Binyanav, tefillin is the select representative of mitzvahs she'azman goma, right? Are we all good? Tefillin are potter, women are potter. So to all other, almost all other, we're going to get there. Mitzvahs she'azman goma are potter, tzitzis, sukkah, lulav, shoifa, they're potter, mikradin, v'chulei. However, there is an exception to the rule. There's an exception to the rule. The list over here, now mitzvahs she'azman groma, which there are chayav certain mitzvahs, although it's hazman groma, the Torah specifically included women. Simchas Yom Tov, Samachta atu bitecho, bincha ubitecho, son and daughter, Hakhel. It says outright, Anoshim, Noshi, V'Hanoshim V'Ataf. All, I almost said all genders. That's today. Both genders and all ages. They all, all ages, and genders. They all have to come to listen to the Melech Sukkos after Shemitah. That's Hakhel. So you have an exception to the rule, and there's another exception, Matzah. Why do women have to eat matzah for the third time? Because they bought a new sheitel for Yom Tov. Because chometz. Just like women are not supposed to eat chometz, not supposed, they're going to get chorus. So too, because matzah and chometz are together in this week's parsha, kol she'ei yeshno bebal toichel chometz yeshno bematzah. So we have exceptions to the rule. We have exceptions to the rule, and sometimes women are chayev bazman groma. Okay. Now let's look at the other group, which are normal, meaning mitzvahs she'en hazman groma. It's most mitzvahs, right? Mitzvahs she'en hazman groma, they are potter. That's the rule. En hazman groma, they're potter, right? En hazman groma. Excuse me, the chayiv. Excuse me. No, most of them the chayiv. I made a mistake. En hazman groma. Most mitzvahs she'en hazman groma. Women are chayiv. A woman is chayiv to be mekayim mitzvahs, right? And there are two of exception to the rule. We have some mitzvahs she'en hazman groma, and they are exempt from that. Torah is not zman groma at all. Torah, any living second, you have to think of Torah, and women don't have to do that. There's a special exception. That's an exception to the rule. The red ones are the rules, and the blue ones are the exceptions to the rule in each group. The one circled in red is the normal, is the one which that's a normal rule, not the exception. In other words, from tefillin we learn to all mitzvahs shazman groma. And normally, en hazman groma they're chayiv, as the Mishnah said, and that's an exception. Now we're going to see how the ball starts rolling. Why is one called an exception and one is called the rule? Let me ask a question. Why do you call this one an exception? Why is that the rule? That's exception to the rule. Maybe the other way around. Let's see. Says the Heilige Gemara. We are in Dafla Medalid in Kiddushin, Amud Beis, and we are in, I think it's the 7th line. Fragt the Gemara, ve'ade yalfinan. Ve'ade yalfinan mit tefillin leptura, until you learn from tefillin, or instead of learning from tefillin, that women should be potter, exempt from sukkah, lulav, shofar, instead of that, neilaf misimcha lechiyuva. Why don't we pick a korban over here, a simcha? Why is tefillin representing all other mitzvahs, and telling me, I'm the representative of the party called Mitzvos She'eseh Hazman Goma, and all other mitzvahs should be like me. they should be exempt. Why? Maybe you should learn from Simcha, for example. Simcha is what? A woman should be happy on Yom Tov. Maybe that should be reflecting on all other mitzvahs shehazman groma. Maybe sukkah, lulav, tzitzis, yeah, not tefillin. Tefillin is an exception. In other words, all these mitzvahs that are not written in the Torah one way or the other. Yeah, the floating votes, those that don't know what to do. All the mitzvahs where the Torah doesn't say anything about lulav. Yeah, okay. Maybe they should learn from Simcha that just like Simcha, women are obligated, even though it's man groma, so to shofar and lulav and everything should also women should be chayiv. Why is tefillin setting the rules and not Simcha? Right? That's a very, very valid question. And the chiyuva and be mechayiv them in all mitzvahs sheshes man groma. Omar Abaye says Abaye, Isha baila misamcha. The mitzvah of a woman to be happy on Yom Tov is not an independent individual mitzvah on her. It's a mitzvah on the husband to make his wife happy on Yom Tov. Take it from me, try to make your wife happy every day. That's good advice, yeah? But there's a special mitzvah to buy her new clothes and buy her tachshitim, v'chule, v'chule, especially for Yom Tov. Yeah, even if you're almost 80, it does make a difference. Yeah. At the age of 80, she wants a new tachshit. The Gemara says even an old woman wants to look good, and therefore there's a mitzvah, v'samachta ato beitecho, v'simachta, make her happy. But there's no mitzvah on the woman herself, incumbent upon her, to be happy. And therefore, what? Therefore, you don't learn from there regarding other mitzvahs, shazman groma, that she has to sit in the sukkah or that she has to take lulav. Okay. Excuse me. It says that on Yom Tov you should make happy. You should happify. I made up a word, happify. Yeah, you should happify the almona, Yosom Ger Levi. It says almona. Almona, she's not my wife. She's a widow, so she's not my wife, right? And if so, and yet you see that there's a mitzvah, the almona should be happy. And it says the almona, Levi Ger Yosom almona should be happy on Yom Tov with you. Make them happy. What would you say about that? She's not your wife. Answers the Gemara, B'shruya etzloi. It's an almana, as the pasuk indicates, who lives with you or is under your auspices, under your care. She is poor. She's a poor almana. She's a poor almana, miskena. She doesn't have money, no husband, no income. Invite her for Yom Tov. Make her happy by, bringing her into your house. Could be a divorced woman, also possibly. A woman who's alone, mitzvah to bring her to your home on Yom Tov to make her happy. But wait, an almana who's rich, I'm not joking. Rashi says she's a widow, she's independent, she's not going to on Yom Tov. She invites other people. Yeah, she's absolutely fine financially, emotionally. She's absolutely good, an independent woman. And then what? Does she have a mitzvah to be happy? No. There's no mitzvah. It's an example, that shows us, that women don't have a mitzvah of their own to be happy. It's a mitzvah on a man to make his wife happy or make the next door neighbor almana to have what to eat also. Very nice. There's no mitzvah on the women to be happy, and therefore Simcha is not a source to tell me anything about women's mitzvahs, because it's not a feminine mitzvah to be Samecha on Yom Tov. You be Samecha, that's very nice. If a woman wants to be happy on Yom Tov, Givaldi. But it's a chiyuv on the husband or the whoever takes care of her, not on her. So you can't, that doesn't reflect on other mitzvahs, and therefore one down, two more to go. Yeah, of course, we're going to ask now, I'll hear you in a second, I promise. Hakhel is a mitzvah on the women. Married or not married, women have to go to Beis HaMikdash to listen to Dvorim, to Sefer Dvorim for the Melech. Matzah. I don't care if you're married, not married, poor, or young, or old. Any woman has to eat matzah on Leila Seder. Are you on Atkins diet? Start that tomorrow. Yeah. So the question is going to be, why didn't you learn from them? Why do you learn from Finland? But that's the upcoming question. Yes, I'm now listening to your questions. Yeah, commercial break. Questions. Yes. Right. Next. Frag the Gemore v'neilaf mehakel. Why didn't we learn from Hakhel? As I said, Hakhel is a mitzvah which is women individually, regardless of the men, they have to go to listen to the Torah once every 8 years. It's very zman groma. Why don't you say Hakhel should teach me on the Kol Torah Kula that all other mitzvahs shazman groma, women should be chayav just like Hakhel? Yeah. Answers the Gemara. And here we come to the big rule of today. These words are going to follow us again and again. Mishum dehava matzah v'hakel shne ksuvim aboim ke'echad. V'chol shne ksuvim aboim ke'echad en melamdin. Let me do this now. Hakhel and Matzah, they live in the little world of their own. There are shne ksuvim aboim ke'echad. They are closed. Which means, as we saw a few days ago, actually, yeah, shne ksuvim aboim ke'echad means as follows. Yeah, I'll give you a mashal before we continue. Let's say you enter a store that sells dishes, plates, yeah, and you know, and the seller knows, everybody knows, you're not there to buy one plate. You need to buy a set, right? And let's say there are white plates and black plates, right? Let's say, okay, or white sets and blue and black sets. You really buy big time. And let's say you say, okay, I'll take this, the white. Well, if you point at one white plate, that means to say you want a lot of white plates, right? And not the black ones. The white one represents the color you want, right? You have a kablan coming to your house, you show him one tile with one color that represents all the other tiles, obviously. However, let's say you tell the seller in the shop, I want this white plate or this white packet and that one. Do you also buy all the other ones? Not necessarily. Because if you say one white plate, and I know you're supposed to buy more, the white represents all 5,000 plates in the store. But if you say, I want that packet of white and that packet of white, that's it. Not all the other ones. Otherwise, why did I mention the second one? Logic being, if I know that I speak in multiple, right? I'm speaking in amounts, yeah? Then if I say the white plate, or I say one mitzvah, one item, it represents all the other ones. But if the Torah is repeating this mitzvah and that mitzvah, why do you have to repeat the other mitzvah as well? If you apply, the Torah says mefurash, the Torah applies a certain rule to mitzvah A, and then it repeats itself in mitzvah B, that means only A and B have that rule and no other ones. Why? Because otherwise, why did you have to repeat the second one? That showed you that the first one did not represent the second one or anybody else. Let's now talk in the terms of the Gemara. I hope the example was clear. Thank you. If Hakhel was there, free ranger alone, Hakhel represents everybody. If you say Hakhel, the Torah says Hakhel, women are chayiv. Yeah. Matzah, women are chayiv. Why do you have to repeat that? The mere fact that the Torah had to repeat by Matzah also and by Hekesh to tell me that they're chayiv, like by Chometz, the Torah says outright, Hakhel, women, Matzah, women. Why do you have to repeat twice? It means it's now enclosed in its own little circle, and they do not reflect and they do not show anything on the other mitzvahs. So this one is a nothing. The simcha, and simcha is a lot, doesn't represent, it's not really a mitzvah on the woman, and they're closed on their own. That's why it's an exception to the rule. B'sheiken tefillin, you don't have shtei mitzvahs abayim ke'echad. Soon you'll see why. You don't have shnei ksuvim, and tefillin represents everybody else, the normal ones. Tefillin shows you the norm, the rule, that mitzvah says shazwan groma, noshim are potur. No questions because we have to continue a little bit. Okay, correct the Gemara. Okay, ihochi, if so, all very nice. Now I understand why Hakhel and Matzah are like frozen together. But if so, tefillin v're'iyah, nami shnei ksuvim aboim ke'echad ben melamdin. Same thing here. Why are you telling me tefillin does teach me in the whole Torah? Look, I can count till 2. Tefillin is 1 and re'iyah is 2. Tefillin, the Torah says mefurash, not for women. V'shinantem levonecho and tefillin. And re'iyah, it says re'iyah, women are potter because it says kol zchurecho. Don't get confused. Re'iyah is not the melech. Re'iyah is 3 times a year. Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot, you go up to Hashem, kol zchurecho. You're male. So why does the Torah have to repeat the same idea twice? Exactly the same. So I would also say over here that tefillin and re'iyah don't represent anything, right? And therefore, why is tefillin working on its own, like as if it's a one pasuk only, and teaches me on the whole kol Torah kula? Why? Tefillin and re'iyah also close that circuit between them, and they can't teach on anybody else. Answers the Gemara. Tzrichi. Re'iyah means to be seen by Hashem 3 times a year in this holy city, in the Beis HaMikdash. Only men have to go. Women may go, but only men have to go 3 times a year to be seen by Hashem. And by the way, how do you know women used to go? Also from Hannah and Penina, mother of Samuel. Yeah, Chana, right? Chana and Pnina, they used to go to Mishkan, Mishkan with Eli, right? But Lamaisa they went, yeah. Okay. Tzrichim answers the Gemara. Let me reiterate what I said before. What said Yov Shnei Ksuvim B'Yom Kechad? It's redundant. If I told the seller I want the white plate, and then I say I want that white plate, well, I know it already. If you repeat the same thing twice, we assume that he didn't know it. Then I'm being specific, only these two, right? But let's say I want to buy one white plate and one black plate, that he couldn't have known, right? How would have he known? In other words, if there's a reason to write twice, tefillin are men only and re'i are men only, meaning if I read that tefillin are men only and I would have still really tefillin represent the whole Torah Kula, sukkah, lulav, shofar, but re'iyah I wouldn't have known. There is a certain reason why re'iyah I would have thought women have to, yes, go to Beis HaMikdash, and it's not called Shnei Ksuvim B'Yom Kechad. Shnei Ksuvim B'Yom Kechad means it's redundant to mention both. It's superfluous. But if I need logically to mention both because one wouldn't have thought on the other, then it's not Shnei Ksuvim B'Yom Kechad. And now the Gemara is going to explain how that works, and I'll say it again. Explains the Gemara. Yikas of Achmon tefillin. Let's say the Torah would have written only tefillin. Only tefillin. V'lo kos of re'iyah. Let's say re'iyah wouldn't have been written. And what? Not that it wouldn't be written as a mitzvah. Let's say the Torah wouldn't have written zchurcha. The Torah wouldn't have written that only male have to go to Beis HaMikdash, right? And I would have said, automatically I know if tefillin are women are men only, Azman Grama, of course, Riyah is men only because it's Azman Grama. No, says the Gemara, that's not true. Wrong. It's not redundant. Hava Amina, if not for Riyah being specifically, exclusively mentioned as a male mitzvah, you know what I would have thought? What we said yesterday. I would have thought, Neilach, let us learn Gzera Shovo, Re'iyah mehakel, ay. Hakhel, remember? Yeah, the mitzvah of Hakhel is bad influence over Re'iyah. Why? Because Hakhel is whispering in his ear, also women. Why? Because Hakhel, it says in Hakhel, Bevoichol Yisrael lero'ois, and by Re'iyah, it says also, Yiroi kol zchucho, Gzera Shova, Re'iyah, sing. Havamina, that really the Gzera Shova of Re'iyah, which we used yesterday for something else, I would have learned from Hakhel to what? To Re'iyah. And Re'iyah is susceptible to the bad influence of Hakhel to think that it's also women. And I would have rejected tefillin because a rule is a rule. But if you have a Gzera Shova who goes against the rule, of course you follow the Gzera Shova. That's why you need to write Re'iyah. That's why Re'iyah has to have the special word Zchurecha. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known because I would have thought the Gzera Shova. Your questions are welcome later. The ikos of Achmon Re'iyah, the ikos of tefillin. Now, salute to the other way around. Write only Re'iyah. I don't write tefillin, right? Re'iyah is the sensitive, susceptible one. Write kol zchurecha. Only male come 3 times a year. Azman goma, and I would automatically know that tefillin also is Azman goma, and they're exempt. Why do you need to mention in tefillin again? Yeah, hekesh to shinantom. Avamina akish tefillin mezuzah. Tefillin also have bad influence. Tefillin are mentioned right next to mezuzah. Remember, they're mentioned between Torah and mezuzah, and therefore tefillin would have thought just like a woman chayv mezuzah. Yes, a woman who lives by herself needs to have a mezuzah. I would have learned tefillin from mezuzah by hekesh. That's why tefillin, we have to have the hekesh to Torah, hekesh the Torah v'shinantom, and that tells me that both tefillin and re'iyah are not shnei ksuvim aboim ke'echod. Listen to the words of my friends. Before all my mishalim about the white plates, shnei ksuvim aboim. What's aboim ke'echod? They're repetitive. They tell me the same thing. If the Torah says, buy here, buy Hakhel and Matzah, then it's repetitive. Hakhel is men only. Okay, I got your message. I know Hakhel is only men. Good. Hakhel is what? No. It's only also women. Okay. Hakhel is also women. Very nice. I know now it's all women. Why do you have to tell me again Matzah is also for women? I got you already. Why do you have to say it twice? That closes them to an electric circuit with a plus and a minus. Only they're closed in their own little cuckoo land of Hakhel and Matzah. Only they are an exception to the rule. They are alone, right? A Shenkin here, no. Here I need to learn tefillin and re'iyah because otherwise I wouldn't have known the basic information. Therefore, tefillin is still free at the end of the day, and from tefillin we learn to call it Torah Kula that women are what? Are exempt. Mitzvos Shazman Groma. Ad kan, that's what we're saying here. And now there's another Yachi question. Yeah. Okay. Oh, if so, if you're telling me, you just told me tefillin and riyah, each one is necessary to be told. I wouldn't have known it, so it's not redundant, and it's not shnei ksuvim b'hem ke'echad, and you can learn from one to the entire Torah. If so, let's re-examine Hakhel and Matzah. Let's re-examine Matzah. Let's revisit and re-examine that. If so, Matzah v'Hakhel nami tzrichi. Aha. Matzah and Hakhel. You told me Matzah and Hakhel to tell me what? Matzah. Women have to eat matzah. Yes, yes, yes. Just like they can't eat chometz. Hakhel. Oh, yeah, yeah. Anoshim, noshim, vataf. And what did we say? It's redundant. He told me once. Why tell me twice the same thing? You're closing them up. You're freezing them up. No. Maybe I need both matzah and hakhel, and I'll prove it to you. Frag the Gemara, lemay tzrichi. In other words, there are not shnei ksuvim b'hem ke'echad. One is needed, because even after you know the one, you still have to learn about the other. I wouldn't have not known it automatically one from the other. Why wouldn't have I? Listen to this. Bishlema, and the Gemara is not challenging it. Bishlema kosav achmon hakel v'lo kosav matzah. Let's say the Torah would have only told me that hakel is for women, right? Is for which it is, and matzah the Torah would have kept quiet. And you're telling me no. Hakhel maybe should yes be the representative of women and tell me the women are chai b'kol mitzvos kulam, and matzah I would have automatically know from Hakhel the women are included. So why is matzah written? It's redundant. Says the Gemara, no. Hava amina, you know what it would have been if matzah wouldn't be specifically including women, inclusive of women? Hava amina, I would have thought ne'elav chamishasar michag sukkos. Oh, I would have thought that, as we said earlier on, there is a gzera shava which applies every sukkos, tesvav. Just like sukkos, we know women, by sukkos are potter, right? I would have said also by Pesach they're potter. Right now, before we're trying to build up the new idea, the assumption is women are potter sukkos, and by the way, it also says ha'ezrach, right? It says ha'ezrach and not women. That's specific by sukkos. I would have said, listen, really, women are always chai b'zman groma. The chai b'shoifer, the chai tefillin, tzitzis. I would have thought maybe not tefillin, tzitzis. But lemaisa, what? Maybe Pesach. There should be potter. Just like on sukkos they're potter. We always like to compare sukkos and Pesach. I would have said tesvav. So women should be potter from Pesach, and that's why women have to be specifically mentioned matzah in matzah that they're chayiv. Ella, but the other way won't work for you. Nichtav rachmana matzah. Hakhel. But the other way around doesn't work. And with that, we're staying, my friends. That's a maskono. Let us write matzah, and we do not need hakel. Why does the Torah have to tell me in hakel that women have to come? Listen to the beautiful svara. V'ano amina, I would have clearly figured out myself the women have to go to hakel without the Torah writing it. How would have I known? Tfolim chayovim noshim lokol sheken. Aye. You know what's the minimum age for Mitzvos Hakhel? Very, very, very young. A young baby on his mother's arms is already in the stroller, in the whatever you call it, in the buggy, whatever you call it, What about him? He has to be in Beis HaMikdash. Maybe it's a mitzvah on the parents, but Lamaisa he has to be there, If little kids have to be there, as young as tough, as very small kids, very young kids, kol sheken, women have to be there to listen to the melech. A woman can be a very, very, very intelligent creature, a rebbitzin. So therefore, it's absolutely, and this is maskona, chaverim, redundant to write hakel, to be mechayev women in hakel, and have it written down in the Torah black and white is very extra, superfluous, unnecessary. Ilkach, therefore, full stop period. Back to the good old square one. Hakel and matzah is redundant. In other words, matzah and echanami, I have to teach you. I wouldn't have known. I would have thought it's like, sukkahs. Hakel, I would have known clearly from my own logic. Why shouldn't it be like matzah? On the contrary, if kids have to, kol sheken women. If the Torah has to tell me, extra, women have to come. Why is the Torah kilu again saying it? Oh, if the Torah repeats the same idea once and then twice, that's one time too much. It's closing the gates. It's not a club open to all members. It's a very exclusive club of two people or two mitzvahs. The exclusive club of two mitzvahs is what? Azman Groma Chayovas is very exclusive. It's not the norm. It's not the right thing. The right one, who's an open club, who's an open teacher for everybody, is tefillin. Tefillin teaches me the norm. That's why I circled it in red. That's the one that teaches me the norm, the rule, the cloud, that women are exempt from Azman Groma, just like tefillin. Tefillin and Riyah are Shnei Ksuvim. They're not Shnei Ksuvim, because each one is a Chiddush on its own, as we explained before. Ad Kan, Hakofa Aleph, and we dealt, Baruch Hashem, very nicely with this Zman Groma. Now, I promise you, I'll listen to you soon. Now we're going to deal with Ein Zman Groma, right? Okay, you can ask a question now, although, yeah, okay, go ahead. Okay, ask the Gemara. Asks the Gemara. The Gemara, by the way, will not answer this following question now. I'm warning you in advance, it will be answered much later, not even today, okay? So this is a question, just, keep it, in the back burner. Frekt the Gemara. Hanicha, all this is very nice. Leman de Omar, this is good and Noach and excellent. Leman de Omar en melamdin. According to the Man de Omar, it says, Shnei ksuvim aboim keched en melamdin. Very good. We just explained very logically. When you have the same concept repeating itself twice, it's a closed thing, doesn't teach you on the rest of the Torah. Ela leman de Omar melamdin, Michael Meima. Surprise, surprise. I think we saw that before. We saw about 24 Evorim. Yeah, that there are opinions who hold. I don't know what's their logic. There are opinions who hold no, that even if the Torah repeats the same idea twice in two mitzvahs, they can still, yes, teach you for Kol Torah Kula. Wow. Yeah, even though it's repeating itself twice, it's repetitive, it does show me, it does teach, it does instruct you regarding the Kol Torah Kula, Michael Meimar. The whole case, that's it. I just knocked out your case. You're telling me you can't learn that she's chayeves b'zman groma because Hakhel and Matzah are shnei ksuvim kechod and they're closed in their own little jail over here. No, there is an opinion that says otherwise. It says that even if the same idea repeats itself twice, you can learn from this to Kol Torah Kula. So then it's a question which is not yet dealt with now, but it's a huge question. Now the tefillin, this team lost its advantage over this team, right? Over that one. Right, just like tefillin and Riyah, they teach me on Kol Torah Kula. Maybe Hakhel and Matzah should teach me Kol Torah Kula. Women Achayev. Leave it as a question now. Promise, we'll get there. The two, and another question. Oh, here we come to deal with those business over here. We said up until now, as we said right from the Mishnah, Mitzvos Shaloi Hazman Groma, women are chayev. If it's a mitzvah which is not time related. A mitzvah, a woman has to be Yirah Hashem all the time. Emunah B'Hashem all the time. Woman has to be V'chulei all the time. Mitzvahs that apply, regardless of time, yeah, they have to be Mekayim, right? The two asks the more question. Mitzvahs Ese Shlo Hazman Grom Noshim Chayovos Minolan. Excuse the kfire, but how do you know? Once you open the door that some mitzvahs women are not chayev, then Rebbitzin Puchkorovsky is going to ask me, well, maybe other mitzvahs are not chayiv either. Says the Gemara, she's right. Minolan, how do you know that regular mitzvahs women are chayiv? Where do you draw the line? Do you have a source that women are chayiv in mitzvahs she lo hazman groma? Especially, what's whispering in our ear? There's a very big lobby for women over here. What? There are many mitzvahs she hazma shelo hazman groma. The women are exempt from. How do you know the women are chayiv in the regular mitzvahs? You know where from? The Olif mi moira. Cool. Moira. What's moira? Is a teacher? No. Fear, not fear of Hashem, which I'd like to say. What? Very good. Ma moira noshim chayaves afkol mitzvahs aseh shelo zman goma noshim chayaves, which means we're only, by the way, the common denominator to all the mitzvahs that are here on the whiteboard, they have one common denominator. The women are clearly mentioned either in the Posuk or Begzer Shov or Hekesh, that the Torah says something regarding women, one way or the other, right? As opposed to, let's say, Lulav, it doesn't say anything, or Shofar. These are like the leaders, and the other mitzvahs are like supposed to follow them, yeah? So now, a mitzvah where it says Mefurash, it's behind my head, Moira of aim. How do we know that a woman has to fear her parents? It says, Ish imoy v'oviv tiro'u. Both genders, you both have to be fearful of your parents and respect them. Oh, a woman as long as she's not married, so she doesn't have her own household on her head, yeah. As long as she's a single girl, or as the Gemara said in Daf Lamed, divorced, single almona, she has to help her parents as much as she can. She doesn't have all of the family. If she has little kids, different story. But it says mufurash, tira'u, plural, men and women, both of you, have to fear your parents. So here's a source, Yofi. Now I know, just like it says mufurash, black and white, ish ima vaviv tira'u, both of you, both genders, so too. And it's not as mangroma, as we explained. Yeah, even if your parents are in London or Los Angeles, you still have to be mechabed them all the time, as much as you can. You happen not to be next to them, that's either good or bad. It's good in Eretz Yisrael. But Lamaisa, the chiyuv is conceptually there. While lulav, I have no chiyuv to shake lulav now at all, right? So kibbut aveim is a mitzvah setzer shelo man goma. Women have to do it. They got to do it. It's a red circle. Voice, and that reflects on Kol Torah Kula. Frag the Gemara, the obvious question, excuse me, V'neilaf mitalmud Torah. Let's start picking on that group. Why won't we learn from Talmud Torah? Talmud Torah is not as man groma at all, my friends. It's the least as man groma. Besides maybe Yeras Shamayim and Emunah B'Hashem, Shesh Mitzvos Midios, you have to learn Torah as much as you can. So it's absolutely not as man groma, lo ein as man groma, and they're exempt. Maybe that should represent all the mitzvahs. Maybe any other mitzvah shelo as man groma, not time related, they should be potter and exempt. Who told you otherwise? Mishum answers the Gemara. By the way, we're back to the old-fashioned good world of shnei ksuvim b'yom kechad ein melamdin. We're back there, okay? Let's go back to the normal matzav. If you have two psukim are telling me the same thing again and again, that means they have their own little corner. They're not teaching anybody else. If so, answers the Gemara Talmud Torah. Mishum davar Talmud Torah the pirya v'rivya shnei ksuvim b'yom kechad. Torah, you always mechuyev to learn Torah. Women are exempt. Period. Those of you who didn't see the video yesterday, I did not say it in the live shiur, so I'll say it now. Why are women exempt from period verivia? Why is it that the mitzvah on the man? Of course, a woman, it's a very choshuv thing to her to get married, and you can listen to 5,000 hours of the rabbits and talking about it. It's all that. It's true. There's a source in the Gemara. But the mitzvah of period verivia is not on women. It's a mitzvah on the man. She's helping him. All that shkafika is nice. The mitzvah pruvu is men only, and it's not as man grama. Why is it men only? Because what the Torah says right after pruvu, when Hashem spoke to Adam and Chava, what did he say? Pruvu milu esauts v'kivshua. You should fill in the land and conquer the land. Conquer not from a different nation, but conquer from the animals. In other words, you should inhabit the land. Yeah, you should live in the land and send the message of Hashem to the land. The ones who are kovesh, the ones who fight either animals or two-legged animals, like the Palestinians, will I stay on YouTube? Maybe they won't hear that word yet. If you want to conquer the land from all types of animal, the ones who should be there are only male soldiers. It says at the beginning of the Masechta, Ish dalko lechabesh, Isha en dalko lechabesh, lichbosh. What's lichbosh? Conquer. Yeah, who is the one who goes as a soldier and conquers? Only men. Women should not fight in combat. Yeah, it's also halachically. Now I'm for sure out of YouTube. Yeah. In other words, women should not be fighting. It's wrong. So because prurvu is mukash to conquering the land and running around with your gun, that's a man thing. Therefore, only men are mechuyev in Pir v'Rivya. Good. Torah and Pir v'Rivya are closed. Ignore this, please. I also saw it. Yeah. The Torah and Pir v'Rivya are in their own little KG over here, okay? Right? Torah and Pir v'Rivya are not representing anything. Torah says the Torah says about Talmud Torah, men only. Okay, I got the message. Again, the Torah is telling me. I mean, not by that order. Pir v'Rivya, men only. Okay, I understand you already. Why are you repeating it twice? Close the circuit. Only them. And other mitzvahs, she'en azman groma, women are chayiv. Exception to the rule is Talmud Torah v'Pir v'Rivya. Okay? Of course, there are other questions here. But first of all, Amud Hey Amud Aleph, we're asking on Rabbi Yochanan ben Broikov. Frag the Gemara. Rabbi Yochanan, everything you said is very nice. However, there's another opinion regarding Pir v'Rivya. The opinion of Rabbi Yochanan ben Broikov. What did he say? Rabbi Yochanan ben Broikov says that women are equally committed, equally obligated, mechuyev in prurvu, just like the men. Equal duties. The Omar. Where did Rabbi Yochanan ben Broikov take? Where is he taking it from? In Yevomis, I think. The Omar al Shnemu Oimer, Hashem told both of them equally. Veivorch Oisam Elokim, Hashem blessed them both, Oisam, and he told them right away, Pruvu. He blessed them, Pruvu. Oh, they're twice Pruvu. Once it's a tzivu, once it's a bracha. Yeah. So Lamaisa, he blessed them and he said Pruvu to him and her. You know, like the rabbi under the huppah. He blesses the Chosam Kala, Lehavdil. Hashem told them both, Pruvu, Kibush. Okay, that overrides the idea of Kibush according to him. If so, Michael Amemar. So according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika, what's happening here? According to him, Pruvu belongs to here. Pruvu, according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika, is here. It's Ein Hazman Groma, which the archive. Yeah, you understand? In other words, according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika, Pruvu here doesn't exist. I'm erasing it only according to him. So Pruvu, according to Yochanan ben Broika, doesn't belong in that group of Potu, the archive in Pir Verivia. He switched sides there. The archive in Pir Verivia. So the only game in town is what? Is Talmud Torah. If Talmud Torah is the only one, let Talmud Torah, right, teach me on Kol Torah Kula that every mitzvah says Shelo Zman Groma, they're potter. So it should be potter from all mitzvahs She'en Zman Groma, right? Okay. Michael Meimar, what would you say? Talmud Torah is left alone. So we don't have that friendly Shnai Ksuvim Boim Ke'echad. So Torah should teach me that all the mitzvahs She'en Zman Groma, they are potter. Michael Meimar answers the Gemara. I already gave you the answer. I gave it out. Ishum David Talmud Torah, Pidyon Ben, Shnei Ksuvim Boim Ke'echad. V'chol Shnei Ksuvim Boim Ke'echad en melamdin. Pidyon Ben. According to Bechan ben Broika, yeah, Pidyon Ben is the one with Torah. He pairs Pidyon Ben and Torah, and he says, look, just like Pidyon Ben always applies. Don't tell me when it's a month old. Thank you. You can every day of the year. Yeah, I believe that every person in the world, every day, I'm trying to say, every day there's somebody who became a month old, right? It's not as man groma, right? It's not caused by time. It's caused by the fact that he's 30 days old. That's all. It's not as man groma, day, night, Yom Kippur, Yom HaShanah. I don't know, all the time. So therefore, we see that Torah and Pidyon Ben are not Zman Groma, and women are exempt. It's two. If it's two, closed, freeze it. Only them and nobody else. Very nice. Yes. Also true. Also true. Thank you for the very nice aura. By the way, the 30 days, I want to say what you say and then what I said. Pyramid starts from 30 days, and I said it yesterday actually. I've been to Pidyon Ben with the kid was like 5 years old. And sometimes you have people who come from Russia or Balachuva, they do Pidyon Ben at the age of 40. Have you seen that? Maybe you were born, were Beis Torah? Rappaport. Rappaport also did my son, but my son was a month old. Yeah. So very good. Yeah. Pidyon Ben is not time related. A man can be 60 and do Pidyon Ben because his parents didn't know about it. Yeah, very good. So now, very nice. Frag the Gemara. With Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika. Ooh, look what's going on over here. Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika, look what's happening. Moira is Hazman Goma? No, it's not. You have to fear parents all the time. Are women obligated? Yes. Now, what about Piria Verivia? According to Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika, applies all the time to both genders. Frag the Gemara, two. Two is not a good number. Frag the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika, Nami, also. Nehevu Piri Verivia Umoiro Shnei Ksuvim Boim Ke'echad Ben Melamdin. Lichura, according to Yochanan ben Broika, right? How can we learn from Moira to call it Torah Kula? Maybe I should mark the ones who teach us. Tefillin is the teacher and Moira is the teacher. That's a sign. Moira, Moire. From Moira, we learn to call it Torah Kula. The women have to, just like she has to respect her parents all the time, so too she has to do other things that are all the time. Why? According to Moira and Pir Verivia, are two mitzvahs that are both genders, and two mitzvahs are not Zman Groma, and what? And they are chayiv, so they should not teach. When you have two mitzvahs together, they're not teaching on the others. So women should be exempt from constant mitzvahs. Answers the Gemara, tzrichi. Same answer as before. No, you only say shnei ksuvim boim ke'echad when it's redundant. The Torah like repeats itself, lahavdi, like a broken record. Then why do you have to say it again? But if I need to know for basic information the two mitzvahs and the details, then we don't say it's not repetitive. Why? Why do I need to write according to him that Moira applies to women and again write that Pir Verivia also applies to women? I'll tell you why. Let's pick on Moira. Let's say the Torah would have told you Moira, right? And Moira really conceptually teaches you on Kol Torah Kula that the Chayiv and Mitzvos that are constant. And let's say the Torah would have not written Veivorach Elokim Oisom Elokim to the both of them. Would have I automatically known that Pir Verivia applies to both genders? No. You know why not? Says Rabbi Yochanan ben Baruch, because people would mistakenly think that my colleagues, my opponents, are right. Ava Amina v'kivshua marachmana ish the darkel kabesh in ish and the darkel kabesh loy. Very good. And that says Rabbi Yochanan ben Baruch, you know why the Torah had to write outright black and white because if the Torah wouldn't have specifically said both men and women have to bring children to the world, a boy and a girl, then what would have we said? Like my mistaken colleagues are saying, that only men who's darkol kabesh, he has to do pirvrivia and not women. And therefore, that would have trumped the general rule of women having to do mitzvahs to say shalosh man groma, would have come to that sad mistake of my other tanoim. That's why the Torah specifically said to tell you that even though women don't go to the army, they should not go to the army. They still should, yes, have pirvrivia. Yeah, precisely because of that. So it's a terrific answer. What about the other way around? The ikosav pirvirivia. Okay, if you're telling me that pirvirivia has to be written explicitly because of the mistake with the kivshua, okay, so write pirvirivia, and I would have automatically known about yira, respecting the parents and fearing the parents. No, he says because of pirvirivia, below ikosav moira, had the Torah not written moira, that moira, by the way, don't get confused, moira and kavod are connected. Moira is fear, and kavod is to take care of them. Had the Torah not told me that, the women have to respect the parents, havamina, I would have thought, I wouldn't have automatically known that women are in the store of kibbud avoim. There's a big reason for many, many women not chas v'shalom to be disrespectful. There's a big reason for them not to run around the parents and do everything for the parents. Havamina, as we know by married women, that's halacha. Ish the sipek be'odah lasos in, ish the en sipek be'odah lasos loy. Right? We know that a married woman, a man, it says ish imavav iftiroi. What does it say ish? We saw in Daf Lamed, a man who's married, although he's committed to his family, but the technical things of the house, the laundry and the cooking and the making the bed and all that, that's not his chiyuv. Let him go to his old father's house and do it for the father. So a man has a sipek to do that. He doesn't have somebody else sitting on his head, not in that area at least. Yeah, Mashenkin, a woman, and sipek beyodo, she has the fear of others over her husband. The husband is demanding, and he deserves to have her regular, so to speak, services as a housewife. Yeah, she can't go to her parents. The kavan then sipek beyodo lastos as a married woman. I'm reading this according to Rashi. Lot is chayiv klal. I would have thought maybe she's not chayiv at all. That was the havamina that we said in Daf Lamed with the Ritvo, if you remember. I would have said if married women are potter, maybe also non-married girl. Maybe it's already yalla. Once it's out, it's out. Havamina that at 12 years old doesn't have to go to be mechaber her mother. Maybe because she's out of the story. Havamina. That's why tzricha. That's not shteik surim b'im kecha. The reason why the Torah has to write Moira is to tell me that although many women cannot really be mekayim kibbud avayim properly, and they're not even meant to because they're married. Havamina nobody, you have to write Moira. Pirverivia, Havamina, women are not kivshua. That's the next word. Women are not conquerors, so maybe they're not there to bring children to conquer the land. Kamash Malan, you need both. So it's not shnei ksuvim b'im kechod, even according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Baruch, and therefore we all remain with the concept that this does teach. The red circle means it teaches. That's a rule, not the exception. That's exception, that's exception. That's the rule. And women are chayiv in Mitzvos she'en azman groma, just like the chayiv in Moira, or according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Baruch, chayiv b'pirvirivia, according to him, and they're chayiv b'chol mitzvahs that are not azman groma. The chayiv in Yir Shamayim, Huna, Avos Hashem, all these mitzvahs women are chayiv. We're going to finish with a question unanswered. You have to come tomorrow. We repeat the same question as before. It's all very good according to the one who believes that two ksuvim are b'im kechad and melamdin, and therefore what Therefore, Torah and Pivarivia or Torah Pidin Ben, they don't teach on anybody else. El Almadam Lamdi in Michael Meima. There is another opinion who believes that Shnei Ksuvim, although they repeat the same idea, they do teach me regarding the entire Torah. What would you say? The Torah Pidin Ben should teach me just the women are exempt from Torah, exempt for Pidin Ben. They still, yes, they should also be exempt from all other mitzvahs. Enazman Groma. Suspense. We're not giving the answer, and that will be tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow we're holding the words Omarove Papunoi. Papunoi. We're in the word Omarove Papunoi. You can remember the word very nicely. With Aleph. See you tomorrow. Atzlocha uvrocha to everybody. May we not need to conquer anything. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will conquer the land for us and bring us Mashiach very soon. Thank you, Batzlocha. Shkoyach. Good day. Thank you to everybody in YouTube. Thank you to everybody who watches us on Torah anytime, on the phone, on Zoom, and Hatzlocha. Actually, today there was nobody on the phone. Hatzlocha ubrocha. Thank you.